Alrighty, cool. Well, I would like to welcome my good friend, the Spanish sensation. I need to get better ring name. I don't know if he's got a good ring name, but let's go with the Spanish sensation for now. Raul. Hello, Raul. How you doing?
Hola, amigos. Hello, everyone. How are you doing, Tommy, mate? Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, my pleasure. I've known Raul for a good couple of years. He's a professional boxing coach, martial artist, all-round awesome guy. So I thought I'd invite him over for a couple of different questions because there's lots that you can learn from his very, very vast experience of self-defense violence, boxing-based, all areas of the game. So there'll be lots for people to listen into and learn from. So to start, Raul, could you give people a bit of a background into yourself in terms of combat sports, martial arts, just kind of a quick overview of your training, your experiences, that kind of stuff?
Well, I started very, very early. With 7 years of age in Spain was a massive boom of karate. With Karate Kid, the films, Karate Kid, we say in Spanish, or now the TV show Cobra Kai, that was a massive boom in Spain. And basically every single children in a school in Spain, we were doing in the 80s either karate or judo, to an extent that it was nearly compulsory in the syllabus of the physical education in the schools. So basically every child, women included, girls included, having in mind that Spain was a very sexist, fascist country in those times, or nearly getting out of the fascist dictatorship, but even the girls, they did karate or judo. It was a compulsory extracurricular activity that we used to do, and I chose striking. I chose karate, and then I started doing karate, and I never stopped doing martial arts. When I was growing up, and then I realized that karate wasn't what the film tells you, Karate Kid, I started to do one thing that it makes no sense in English. It's called in Spanish full contact. In English, I think they call it the Americans full contact karate.
Yeah.
Because full contact is an activity in English, right? But in Spain, in Spanish, it's a sport. In Spain, full contact is a sport. It's basically kickboxing without low kicks.
Yeah.
So you remove the low kicks from the kickboxing, and it's called full contact. Also, you can throw hammers. You can throw hammers. You can twist yourself and throw a hammer. Okay, no elbows, but you can throw hammers and you can sweep. So you cannot kick. There's no low kicks, but you can sweep. So from karate, I went into full contact. That it was in bloom when I was more in the high school, more in the 90s, after the 80s. And then I went to other combat sports, kickboxing, Muay Thai, the K1. I was very famous in Spain, and I did them all. I did absolutely them all. And then, of course, what now is called MMA, but in my time it was called Valetudo, which in Portuguese, it means everything goes, or no holds barred. Everything goes. Valetudo in Portuguese, and in Spain we used to say Valetudo, everything goes. And then I did them all. But there was one thing that I love, which is boxing. Boxing was always there. Boxing was always the platform, the baseline of everything was training boxing. Either to do karate, even the typical punches in karate were like the jab cross in boxing, like the jab cross. And then in full contact, a bit more open, and then in kickboxing more frontal, and Muay Thai. But in the end, the jab cross, the upper hook, that was the platform, the baseline of everything, and in the MMA. And when I started to do more, let's gonna call it eclectic martial arts, like Filipino martial arts, or more, when I pivot to Krav Maga, I realized that I would revert to boxing. So then I started to focus on boxing a little bit more when I was a little bit older, when I was like, let's gonna call it 20, 22. And I started to do a lot of boxing with the Madrid regional team. So Spain is at the UK, devolved nations. In the UK, you have 3 devolved nations, or 4 if you count England. So in Spain, you have 19 devolved nations, and every devolved nation has their own championships and their own national regional team. And then I end up years of my life training with them and getting battered by them, basically, and learning the trade of boxing. And then I found myself that it was pretty easy for me, at the very least, to adapt boxing to other combat sports or martial arts, even to self-defense systems. When I started to do Krav Maga as well, when Krav Maga came to Spain, it was a brand new thing, Krav Maga. I'm talking about 20 years ago. Krav Maga is everywhere now, but 20 years ago it wasn't. Okay, it was a rarity. Actually, it was for a couple of years was against the law in Spain until it was properly regulated. I was like, honestly, God, it was against the law. Because we used to train with weapons, with guns and things like that. And there wasn't formal regulation. But even in Krav Maga, I managed to revert to boxing all the time, doing kickboxing, doing Muay Thai, doing MMA, whatever I did, even coming back to karate, Filipino martial arts, whatever I did, I revert to boxing. I always revert to boxing. I always survive doing boxing. And that's why I realized that boxing was great. To be honest with you, I never stopped. So I'm 43, and I'm talking about when I was 20, 22. And then when boxing was like a supplementary thing of other things, it became pivotal to me. I realized that boxing was pivotal for me, and I never stopped doing boxing in my life. In Spain, and obviously when I came to the UK. And yeah, right now, I mean, it's my second job. It's not my main job. Not because I cannot, to be honest with you, because I don't want. Boxing world is a very difficult world. It's a very, very hard work. You can get a lot of money from boxing, yes, but it's soul destroying, and I love the sport, and I hate the business. And I try to stay away as much as I can. So I try to have it as a second income, yes, but I try to keep it as a hobby, because boxing was always as a hobby, a tool that I revert when especially when I was doing sparring, when I was fighting in MMA, and I couldn't grapple, I couldn't throw any more kicks, I revert to boxing. Even when I was doing running to an extent, and even to train running, I used to do shadow boxing. So running and boxing, they interlink, because to do boxing, you need to go running, but to do boxing, to do running, I used to do a lot of shadow boxing. When I was running races, it was funny because everybody was stretching, sprints, and I was doing shadow boxing. You see me, and I was doing shadow boxing before the races, and the other athletes were looking at me like, what the fuck are you doing? So yeah, basically boxing has been a pivotal thing in my life, and along other martial arts and combat sport. But yeah, boxing has been always the pinnacle of everything.
So for people that don't know, so Raul's a professional boxing coach. You're a cornerman. You do all that kind of stuff, and a large part of Raul's trade is working with and supporting boxers from predominantly Latin America to come over to the UK. And there's a big kind of journeyman scene. Could you explain to the listeners what a journeyman is, and kind of how journeyman style boxing is slightly different from what people might be aware of?
Yeah, basically a journeyman boxer is a boxer that, for different reasons, because he doesn't have the skills, the quality, or the time to be a contender, to be a challenger, to be a champion, or because he's in a country where professional boxing is not going to take him anywhere, or because he's a ex-former contender / champion at the end of his career. Basically, the journeyman are boxers that they fight very regular. They fight a lot. And basically, they try to make as much money as they can. So they sacrifice the victories in the ring to get money, to feed their families. Okay, they try to fight if they can every week, and to get a lot of money. A contender, a challenger, a champion, a prospect, someone that want to make a very good career, being famous, good purses, fight how many times? 3-4 times a year, sorry. Some boxers fight once a year. 4-5 times, that's a lot. If a famous boxer fight more than 4 times a year, that's a lot. But the journeyman, they fight between 10 and 30 times a year. So right now, one of my main boxers, he fought last year 22 times. And this year, he's injured, and still he managed to fight 5 times, being injured, you know what I mean? So they sacrifice their standards as boxers. They sacrifice the opportunities to win the fights in order to fight a lot. So they sacrifice the quality for the quantity in order to get a lot of money. But in addition, they have a very, very important role, because they help those prospects, they help those contenders to have experience under the lights. So the contenders, they need, I'm not going to call them easy fights because they're not easy fights at all, but they need like competitive sparring. Every fight of a professional boxer cannot be life and death. Okay, you need formative learning fights, and then the journeyman are perfect for you because you are gonna get experience, okay, with a good boxer who knows all the tricks of the trade, that is gonna test your skills, but it's not gonna be a fight between life and death. Okay, so for the prospects, the journeymen are very, very important, and that's why they get paid very well, because they are very, very important for the career, especially when they are starting, for the local boxers to start getting experience in the ring under the lights in professional ranks.
What is it that helps journeyman boxers stay safe? Because obviously it's a lot of fight frequency. The people that you're fighting really want to put on a statement. You know, they want to knock you out. They want to look good against the journeyman. What kind of things do journeymen do that are a little bit different to keep themselves safer? You know, do they tend to work on their defense a lot more? Is it a mindset thing because they're not so worried about winning? They're not as mentally stressed, so they can be a bit more fluid. Like, what are the things that helps keep them safe in this very dangerous game?
So the journeyman is a very durable individual, very durable. The stamina, the endurance not only as a boxer, but as a person, okay? All of them, they are incredible, very tough human beings in every single aspect of life. The mindset is capital. I'm going to talk about the mindset because that's a pivotal thing for the journeyman. But yeah, they are there to take punches. They are there to throw some punches as well. But it's more important the defense and the counter fighting than the offensive. They are not there to knock out opponents. From time to time they do. From time to time they win fights. From time to time they knock out opponents. But there is the dark side of the world, the boxing world, is when a journeyman knocked out a prospect, the phone stopped ringing, because I want you to make the local guy shine. I want you to make the local guy to look good. I don't want you to knock the local guy out. So therefore the manager don't call you anymore, basically. So it's not that they use on purpose, but they don't use all their skills, all their offensive skills. They use incredible skills to defend, to protect themselves, okay? And they need to use every single tool from the defensive box, all the tricks from defense, and counter. They need to be very good countering, and they need to know how to use the attack, okay? Not too little, not too much. They are stuck between someone that want to knock you out very badly, someone that really want to make a statement and knock you out, but you cannot knock him out, because if you knock him out, you are not going to get any more contracts. And also, you cannot risk to break your hands. You cannot risk to get extra tired or get injured or get caught in an exchange of punches, because you're fighting next week. Mm-hmm. So the journeymen are fighting 20, 30 times a year, 10, 20, 30 times a year, which means 2, 3, 4 times a month. So you cannot throw everything you got in one fight. Mm-hmm. And not being able to recover in 6 days, because they're fighting a Saturday and then they fight the next Saturday. So you cannot destroy yourself. You cannot destroy your hands. You cannot get cut. You cannot your ribs. You cannot your stamina, your fitness. You need to keep energy for the next weekend. Okay, so you have to distribute your energy very well against a guy who is probably fighting 2, 3, 4 times a year, and it's the moment of his life, and he really wants to hurt you and to make a statement and to win that fight, chopping your head off. So the defense has to be watertight, okay? All sort of boxing defense that you can imagine, they have to be perfect. They have to be perfect. They need to be very good counter punches. They need to know how to control the range. When it's long range, when it's on range, try not to start caught in the middle, when to grab, how to lose time. And me as a coach, I need to know how to potentiate that. I need to play ball so from the corner as well. I need to do some tricks as well as a coach between rounds. So there are some things that you have to do as well, mm-hmm. to lose time, to get air to get more breath to the boxer. So it's very how the journeyman applies self-defense, self-protection, self-preservation to get through that fight and be able to fight another 4 times within the next 5 weeks.
Absolutely. So if we take a pivot to, let's say, most people watching this will be people interested in self-defense or
Yeah.
martial arts, and they might be of the opinion that boxing is just for very young people. You know, if you're 15 and you want to train to compete, go through the amateurs, you might do some professional fights. What value can boxing bring to people if they're just interested in making their martial arts better or their self-protection better? Is it too late to pick up boxing later in life as you get older?
No, not at all. No, not at all. On the contrary, actually, the journeyman usually are in the later stage of their career, and some of them they are 40 something. Okay, a friend of mine is 43 this year, and he's still fighting as a journeyman, and another one is 41, and both of them, the one who is 41 is going to retire, and the other one, he wants to keep going. Okay, not at all, because in the end, when they do what they do, the journeymen, is they, as I said, they keep their energy a lot. They protect themselves, watertight guard. You try to take the less punches, the less clean punches possible, and then you try to keep your energy a lot. You try to move when you have to move. You don't move a lot, like the young bosses are moving a lot. No, the journeyman, they try to keep their energy a lot. They really try not to gas out. If they can use 50% of their energy and their skills, happy days, so be it. So if they can go with the flow and use the 40% of their energy, so that's why they can keep fighting up until they are pretty old. To be honest with you, the one who is going to retire, my friend who is 41, he's going to retire not because he cannot fight another 10 years, because the British Boxing Board of Control, right now his career is in the UK, is telling him, come on, Berman, you have to retire, you have too old. The British Boxing Board of Control is telling him, listen, I don't think we are going to let you to box more than 1 year longer because you are 41. But so what? He can fight another 10 years. But anyway, he doesn't need the money anymore. He has a little kid, but if he wants, I don't know, 10 years, but 5 years, he can fight. I'm 43 years of age. When I do sparring, I still do sparring with the elite amateurs. I'm in a gym in St. Joseph, ABC. I mean, in the Joe Cordina, right now world champion. He was an elite boxer in my gym. Sean McColdry, Commonwealth champion. Lee Selby, world champion. All of them, they started as an amateurs, and we have some elite amateurs that I'm sure some of them are gonna go far in the amateur ranks and in the professional ranks. We have one, Owen Harris, which is one fight away of qualifying to go to Paris, to the Olympic Games. And I'm still doing some sparring with them. They batter me because they're better than me. But age-wise, if I apply the techniques, the tricks of the trade from the book of the journeyman, I can fend off, I can defend myself. So with 43 years of age, I can still do some rounds with elite amateurs myself. You know what I mean? Using the tricks that the journeyman use. So yeah, no, on the contrary, boxing, I'm a black belt in Krav Maga. I'm a Krav Maga instructor. I'm a self-defense instructor. And believe me, it's very blendable. Boxing and self-defense, at the very least, this side of boxing that the journeyman supply is very, very much blendable. You can really, really survive very much. You have to have in mind that a fight in the street is brutal. Okay, a fight in the street is brutal. It's way, way worse than a round. So in boxing, they take time. You know, I have 3 minutes. I can pick up my shots. You know what I mean? It's 1-to-1. Fight in the street is completely brutal. It's like hysteric cats destroying each other. You know what I mean? So you really need to be very fit, or you have to have very good heart and very good adrenaline. And excuse my language, cojones, as we say in Spanish. So, and you need to have a proper mindset. You need to have cold blood. Okay. And boxing is perfect to train that cold blood. You have someone throwing punches at you, trying to batter you, and you are trying to protect yourself. You know what I mean? You don't have to worry about the legs. Okay. Yeah, you need to worry about powerful punches that can provoke brain damage and break your nose and your eye socket. Yes, but it's a great way to train the mindset, the cold blood, and not to panic, because when you're in a Wetherspoon and someone starts throwing chairs to you and glasses, you really need to cover yourself. You really need to protect yourself in a very clever way without panicking. If you panic in the street, you're going to discontrol yourself, and probably you're going to put yourself in a even weaker position. So boxing is, believe me, boxing I think is great for the people of my age to get that mindset, that cold blood.
Is it? I think this anyway. Well, I'm interested to hear your views. How do you think it feels for someone going from martial arts into a boxing gym? Because there are very different cultures in it. If you've been going to a Krav Maga club or a karate club or even a jiu-jitsu club, and then you go to a boxing gym, how that coach speaks to you and how much value or time they put into you and what everyone else is like is very different, isn't it? Could you explain to people what they should be mentally ready for if they decide I want to work on my hands, I'm going to go to a boxing gym for the first time in my life. What can people expect and what should they be ready for?
So what I would recommend is trying to start from the very beginning, okay? From the very, very low level. No matter if you are a black belt, fifth dan in any other martial arts, no matter if you are a killing machine in the street, boxing is a different animal, okay? And you really need to start from the ground zero, from -A, as we say in Spanish, okay? You cannot go there and say, okay, I'm doing kickboxing. Even if you do a combat sport similar to boxing, like could be kickboxing, you really need to be very humble and you really need to start from the ground zero. If you can do one-to-one, that's way better, and not to rush it, okay? So boxing is a sport that you have to give it like between 3 and 6 months, okay, to start with. Because if you rush a lot with boxing, the problem is you can get battered. You can hurt yourself, and then you have the opposite effect. Your self-esteem goes down. You panic. Okay. So in boxing, the punches in the head are quite brutal, and you can get panic. You can get an involuntary panic, boxing fear, we call it in Spanish, and that's very difficult to overcome. Okay. So you really need to start little by little, piano, not doing sparring for a few months, and having a responsible coach with you. That's what I do in my gym. I'm going to call myself the defensive coach, and I am the coach that do one-to-one classes with people that is not ready to go to a full class. Okay, so I'm with the professionals on one side and with elite amateurs, but also every week I have at least 1 hour a day with people that they are starting in boxing, all the people that have learning difficulties, or the people that they are not fit. And yeah, you can have someone that does Muay Thai with someone with learning difficulties. Yeah, the Muay Thai guy is brutal with the elbows, he's brutal with the knees, but doing boxing is going to be destroyed. It's going to be very badly damaged. So you really need to take it easy. If you manage to take it easy, after between 3 and 6 months, your boxing, you're going to absorb those skills in boxing and you're going to blend them with whatever martial art you are doing, with whatever self-defense system you are doing. And then you're going to find what bits of boxing work for you and are blendable with your martial art. You know your body, you know yourself, and then you see, okay, this doesn't work for me, but that other movement, that other blockade, that other parry, whatever. So you're going to find bits of boxing that are very blendable with other things in life, let alone with self-defense, self-protection. But yeah, I would recommend to start slowly, because boxing, yeah, is that initial stage. Until you get, let's going to call it to intermediate level, let's going to say 6 months. And in 6 months, wow, you skyrocket and you can really start mixing up boxing with other disciplines. And then it's a very comprehensive activity to do that you can apply. Again, you can even to play golf. the golf swing and the cross is it's a very similar movement, let alone the hook or the crochet, we say in Spanish, the crochet and the golf swing it's a very similar thing.
It's important for people to bear in mind that a lot of boxing is taught you use the word absorb. Very little is actually said to you. Your coach might say, you tuck your chin there, and you might have no more advice for the next 3 weeks. And then it might be put your elbow in a little bit, or it might be move your feet a bit more. If you're used to martial arts, you get coached verbally a lot. Stand here, do this, a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right. And I think a lot of people, when they go to a boxing gym, they feel unloved because they don't. It's very rare you get that much time. It's more the coach will look at you a little bit and say, chin down. And that's for you to go work on. You have to hold yourself accountable. No one's going to get you ready for a grading. It's on you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I think that's because I've been a successful coach and I was promoted to the professional ranks even when I never thought about it. I was like 15, 20 years involved with amateur boxing and unlicensed boxing, white collar boxing, even bare knuckle boxing. But I never thought about being professional. But that type of coaching that I brought into boxing, that opened a lot of doors involuntarily. And a lot of people, even professional boxers, say, wow, I like your approach because it's what I do. I apply the mindset or the method of the martial arts or the self-defense classes. I apply them when I'm teaching boxing. And the people like it a lot because otherwise a boxing class could be a bit of a jungle.
Yeah.
A bit of a jungle that the coach doesn't have time because maybe there are 2-3 coaches for 30 people. So they cannot pay proper attention to you, and every person is different. Every single person is different. Every person learns in a different way. And that's why I'm good. And I have a lot of petitions of one-to-one classes because to have a one-to-one class or to have a few one-to-one classes, I think is the better way to start boxing, let alone with the professional boxers. The professional boxers, they really need a very individualized, very, very individual training plan. Game plan, training, coaching. So every boxer is different. Okay, from time to time you can have a group class, a group training. You can have training camps with different professional boxers, but every professional boxer is different. It's not the same to do boxing with a super featherweight than with a super cruiserweight. You know what I mean? So the style is different. So every boxer is different, and so when the people come to the gym, I try to be that welcoming, and then. Well, I have a lot of petitions that I don't have the time. So I've through a lot of people asking me one-to-one classes. Me and my wife, because it's what I do. Because what you are saying, Tommy, is spot on. So you are, especially when you come from martial arts or from self-defense, is a very different way. From okay, everybody looking at the sensei, everybody in a line, and then the sensei is explaining, and okay, and I grab one example and I do it, and then I put you into couples, but I'm monitoring every single couple. In boxing, it's like that. It's not like that. In boxing, they throw you more into the jungle, and you need to, swim or sink or swim. You know what I mean? That's why people like me in boxing right now we are making some inroads. You know what I mean? We have another martial artist, as a boxing coach, Eric, a Polish guy, that ended up coaching in the Joe Calzaghe Academy. Joe Calzaghe, he started his amateur career in my boxing gym, but then, well, obviously, when he was Joe Calzaghe, the Italian Dragon, he has his own gym. And Eric, who was our coach, and he came from the martial arts, very similar to me, and he ended up training for different gyms, one of them for Joe Calzaghe Academy. And because, again, the approach we can bring from the martial arts is a good idea. But again, what I want to reinforce is boxing is very blendable with martial arts. The problem is there is like a broken link. There is a broken link, and some of us are trying to feel that, and we are trying to that hidden link to find it.
It's important as well to remind audiences that some boxing coaches are extremely lazy and they will take your money for you to do 20 minutes, 15 minutes skipping, 20 minutes bags, 2 rounds pads if you're lucky, cool down, warm mat work. Like if you want to get into boxing for the boxing skill, one-to-ones are going to be so much better because classes are very busy, and it's 10 minutes of that, 7 minutes of that, 4 rounds of this. You very rarely will be like, right, let's spend the entire session working on the jab or the cross or slipping. I don't know what you find, Raul, but I find that people's boxing intelligence is really low. Like I train with people that have boxed for 15 years and they don't know the names of things. Like if I were to say parry or bob and weave or wedge block or something, they wouldn't know. They've been doing it, but no one's taught them or put it into structure for them. They've just been thrown in. So it's important to make sure if you get what you want out of boxing if you want to pick up boxing as a tool.
I don't want to badmouth about other fellow colleagues, but the boxing coaches, they become very complacent, and they don't work individually at all. And as I said, every person is different, every boxer is different, and you cannot put everyone to do the same things. That's why small groups and one-to-one classes are very, 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 very important. More than a class for more than 10 people. When I have more than 10 people, sometimes I have to manage 20 people. I do struggle because I cannot do my best as a coach. I have to do something very generic that is a halfway house. It's working a little bit for everyone, but not at all. You know what I mean? So this pad working is the bread and butter. Okay, it's the bread and butter. So I like it a lot when I got the Olympic amateur license in this country. The Wales Amateur Boxing Association is great because they really try to push the coaches to do this. Okay, but in the end, not even in the amateur ranks. Because the professional coaches, you can understand, listen, I'm here to make money. I'm not here to be a teacher of anyone. I'm not here to teach boxing anyone. I'm here to enhance the performance of the boxers and to make money with them. Okay, so from a professional boxing coach perspective, makes sense. But when you're an amateur boxing coach, unless your boxers are very elite and well, I can put them in the Commonwealth Games, I can put them in the European Games, I can put them in the Mediterranean Games, in the Olympic Games, you're going to be dealing with normal people, with normal guys, with normal kids, okay? And let alone if you're unlicensed or white collar, you know what I mean? And then you really need to get the individual training way more, but as you said, that's an effort. That's an effort. That's a lot of effort. But it's the way to do it. And I like I don't know in England, you have more experience than me, Tommy, in England, but in the Wales Amateur Boxing Association, they really try, the first license is called Leaders, the Leaders Awards. They promote the gyms to have assistant coaches. You have the senior coach, we're going to call it the chief coach. Then you have assistant coaches, and then you have leaders, okay? There are 3 figures, okay? So you have one senior coach, 3 assistant coaches, and 5 leaders, and then 20 students, okay? And then you have always someone senior with someone that don't know boxing that much. And it's a great idea. To be honest with you, it's a great idea, and I want more and more people to get the Leaders Award because you really learn very good things about how to teach boxing and how to make boxing something for everyone. For everyone. Someone that never did a sport in his life, or someone that is black belt, 5/5 dan in judo and wants to do some striking. You know what I mean? And I like that approach from the Wales Amateur Boxing Association. In Spain, they are doing exactly the same right now. In Spain, they are even introducing like a belt system in boxing. In amateur boxing, all the federations, especially the Madrid Federation, my federation, the Madrid Federation, they're introducing a belt system. And again, from green belt and blue belt, you can start getting the coaching qualifications, and then it's a motivation for you to get better and to help others, okay? Not to make money, but to help yourself to get better, and wow, it's very rewarding to help others. So that type of approach, I like it a lot, and hopefully we will see that more often. Because as you said, there is a massive gap between being in a self-defense class, in many other sports, even in rugby. You see the rugby coach and they put it in line, everybody looking at me, okay, I'm going to demonstrate how to do this, you know what I mean? But in boxing, it's everybody hitting the box, everybody jumping the rope, and from time to time, I will call you by your name and we will do 1 round of pads. In my gym, they love me because I do a lot of pad working with them. I do 50 rounds a day at the very least. I do 50 rounds a day with the pads. It's a training itself for me. And they love me because, wow, I did, with the other coaches, I did pads 3 rounds last year. And with you, I do 3 rounds every week. The problem is the other coaches are way better than me. The other trainers in my gym are way better than me. But they don't have the time. They don't have the time because they are managing the classes. So when I join the gym, I try to fill that void. I say, okay, guys, I'm going to take care of the one-to-one classes. And it's a very good system we have in my gym right now because you have the senior coaches training the whole group. Okay, and then okay, Raul, we're going to send you these 2 to the other ring. Okay, we send you these 2. Okay, they need to reinforce the jack cross, they need parry, block. Because as you said, the boxing IQ is very low. Thank God in my gym is very good. I'm calling the boxing IQ, the boxing intelligence, the boxing knowledge. But in other gyms, as you said, is very low, the boxing IQ. You need the mindset, but you also need that boxing IQ. You need to know the boxing knowledge.
In terms of mindset for people, what
Yeah.
are some ways to generate? So I'll pick some scenarios and maybe we can look at some mindset. So let's say you've started boxing and you've learnt your techniques, and suddenly now you've been invited to a sparring day, and we all know what that's like. You know, you're putting your gear on, and suddenly everyone looks a bit more edgy, and everyone's a bit scarier, and it might be people you've not sparred with before. So if you are new to boxing and you're about to start sparring, what's a good mindset to help you be ready for what sparring is like?
You need to know yourself a lot. You need to know your limits. You need to know your weaknesses and also your strength, your main points, boxing wise and mentally wise. Okay. And to try not to bend those limits, at the very least, not in an earlier stage. Okay. For instance, if they ask you to do sparring and you really feel you are not ready to do sparring, it's better not to do sparring. Okay. You really need to be confident in doing, or maybe you need to ask, are you sure, coach? Are you sure I'm ready to do sparring? You need feedback from the coach. Okay, you need a coach telling you what to do. Okay, Raul, you are rubbish when you throw your jab, mate. So try to throw your jab, hiding your head, because you throw your jab, you're putting your head up, and then you get clipped. Or mate, listen, just block and move, and just cross, just straight punches. So you need feedback from your coach, but the mindset is knowing yourself a lot. Okay, which ones are my limitations? Which ones are my weaknesses? How's my cardio? Can I do 1 round? Can I do 10 rounds? What's my weight? Okay, can I do sparring with people heavier than me, or I should stick to people of my weight? Well, are we doing 16 ounce, or well, the other guy is using 10 ounce? No, that's gonna hurt me. So you really need to have cold blood to analyze the situation, to see the big picture, not just okay, let's gonna do this. Okay, come on, let's gonna this wrap up. No, you really need to have the calm. You really need to analyze yourself. First of all, to see if you really want to do sparring to start with, if you are ready, trying to find the feedback, and then to analyze, okay, who I'm doing sparring with. Do I know him? Is he going to try to destroy me? What type of sparring are we doing? Are we doing full contact sparring? Are we doing technical sparring? So in my gym, I mean, the senior coaches in my gym are very great, are incredibly great for sparring, and they don't throw you to do sparring if you are not ready. They put you to do, okay, one hand sparring, okay, jab, only jab against jab, okay, then you can use the lead hand, okay, you got only the rear hand only to parry, only to block, you block and you throw, jab, hook, upper, okay, we do that a lot, okay, okay, guys, now jab cross against jab cross, and then you do jab cross against jab cross, that's it, cover, jab cross, and then 3 punches against 3 punches, that type of sparring, okay. As a boxer, you really need to know what you're capable of doing before jumping into the swing. And when you jump into the swing, sometimes you made a mistake. I did a mistake myself 3 years ago when I told a professional boxer, come on, I want to do sparring with you. And he battered me. Obviously, he was a professional boxer. I'm 40-something years of age. But I don't know if I took 2 coffees that morning. I don't know why. A professional boxer, a super middleweight, and I'm 72 kilos. And I was, come on, Ryan, let's go and do some sparring. And then I realized at the end of the first round that it was a total mistake, that I was going to be hard. Thank God he knocked me out in the last second of the first round. He really got me, bam! Oh, I think you call it in English, winding, went here, there, and that's it. I call it a day. I said, okay, mate, that was a great round. Hat off to you, hat off to me. I did 3 minutes with a soon-to-be champion, but that's it. I knew that a second round was going to be a suicidal mission. That's it. I said, okay, no problem. I didn't have any self-esteem problem. I throw the towel. I said, okay, mate, thank you for this education. 1 round education. That's it. That was my mindset that day. Okay. Not to test, not to say, okay, come on, I cannot back off now. No, that's not the proper mindset. That's a stupid mindset that I'm going to get you killed. You know what I mean? You need to test your limits. Yes, you need to test your limits to an extent, but you cannot put yourself in a position that is going to get yourself hurt physically and mentally. And then you won't be able to have any mindset, because the only mindset you will have for not the rest of your life, for many, many, many months to come, will be fear.
It's important as well to communicate your needs. Like my definition of light and your definition of light sparring could be very, very different. So try and use more words than we'll just have a light spar, we'll just have a this, it's try and really communicate, today I'd love to work on defense, or today, I've noticed you've got a really good jab. Could you throw lots of jabs so I could work my jab defenses? Most people that will spar with you, if you communicate well, you'll have a really good spar and both people will get something from it. If you just say, we'll have a move around, yeah, it's fun to do, but the learning curve is pretty, you'll just do the same stuff over and over again. So if you're nervous about, in my mind, and if you're nervous about going to a spar, try and control the variables and communicate what you're trying to get from it with your partner. I want to get better at being close, or I want to get better at moving my head. It's just, I always advise people, it's not boxing, sparring shouldn't be fighting, but sometimes it can be. And sometimes people don't realize when they've gone from sparring mode to fighting mode. Even the nicest people in the world sometimes turn. So you got to protect yourself. You got to be mentally ready for sparring to become fighting at any time. It shouldn't, but it does quite often.
I make the distinction between boxing and fighting. Okay, for instance, coming back to the journeyman, they box, they don't fight.
Yeah.
Okay, they have an amazing mindset to cool it down, not to cool it down, to cool it. So they always keep a sensible approach. They don't go ballistic. It's very rare they go ballistic. Okay, they really have a cold-blood, constant statement with themselves, and they don't fight. They box. They box. From the book, by the book, yeah, using some dirty tricks, some nasty tricks, some cool tricks, but they don't fight. They box. I try the people to box, not to fight. Okay. From time to time, if they are very skilled boxers, I can let them off the hook and I can say, okay, guys, batter each other a little bit, but to an extent. Okay, I want the people to box, not to batter each other. Okay, maybe 5% of the sparring is battering each other, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And we have weight classes for a reason. There are right now with bridge weight or super cruiserweight back. We have 18 categories in professional. In Muay Thai, in some federations, they have up to 20. Even in amateur boxing, from 8, we have another 12, and they are going to be 14 in amateur boxing. So we have weight classes for a reason. So between the sparring partners, I try to keep the weight similar. For what you said, Tommy. So you are, I don't know, you are 90 kilos, but what is light for you is brutal for me. So your light hand, I mean, I'm 72 kilos. So my light punch is nothing for you, but your light punch still is a 90, 100 kilos guy. You know what I mean? So a heavyweight lightness is still brutal for a featherweight. You know what I mean? So you really need to try to keep it similar and sensible, okay? Yeah, so the IQ of the coaches are very important. The IQ of the coaches are very important. That's why I'm in the gym that I'm right now in the last 2 years in St. Joseph. I'm very happy because we have like an equilibrium. We are very different coaches and everyone has a role. And I'm very happy they let me to cover this area we are talking about, not only working with the journeyman professionals, but also with the grassroots, with the people that need, not going to say special education, but yeah, to an extent, they need a different approach. They let me to work with them. And I think it works very well, very, very well. Okay, and then they come back to the main class to do sparring after they did a few one-to-one sessions with me. So yeah, I think it's working very well. And I think every gym should do that because, yeah, to have coaches with good IQ, and every boxer is different, every coach is different as well. Mm-hmm. So some coaches are better to manage some things, others, we are better to manage other things. So not every coach can do everything. Not every boxer can do. This is like in American football or in basketball in America. You have the quarterback coach, the defense coach, the offensive coach, the head coach, the assistant coach. You have different coaches with different roles. In boxing, is something similar. In MMA, they work like that as well. In MMA, you have the striking coach, you have the grappling coach, you have the personal trainer. You have a mindset coach nowadays in the MMA teams as well. In boxing, they're starting to do that. Some professional, some top boxers, they have a mindset, a life coach, a mindset coach. So that's great.
And talking of mindset, let's say you've got a fighter that's in it to win it. So it's a competitive matchup now, and the fighter's not doing as well as they could or should be. What do you in the corner? How do you get people motivated to give it all? What kind of tricks and tips do you have to get people back into the fight, back in the right mindset, back to doing what they're told, to give them their energy when they're tired?
So in here, two different situations, okay? As you said, if I'm in the corner of someone and we want to win that fight,
yeah,
or we want to survive that fight, okay? We want to survive that fight, losing on points, with dignity, with a good performance and fighting the next weekend, or we really want to win that fight is very different, okay? I'm going to start from the winning side, okay? For instance, in the World Championships, in the novices, a novice boxer in Wales is a boxer with no 5 fights, okay? 5 amateur fights. You can compete in the novices championships. We want to win. So every team in Wales, we wanted to win, okay? So we were there to win. You have little time because you have 1 minute. As you know, in the corner, you have 1 minute. So the only thing you can do is to maximize what the boxer is doing right, okay? On top of that, you need to stop what is bleeding out. So you need to stop what that boxer is doing terribly wrong, okay? First of all, you need the boxer to stop doing whatever he's doing incredibly wrong, okay? And after you manage, for instance, mate, every time you throw your jab, you open the gap in the middle and they counter. Mate, every time you throw your jab, parry, put the hand in there. Because they're jabbing you back and they're destroying your nose and they are outscoring you, okay? Every time you throw the jab, you open through the middle and you need to stop that. You need to stop what is hurting the boxer. And then he said, listen, and you are hurting him when you're throwing your upper. When you go inside and you throw the upper, mate, you did it a couple of times and it land. Let's gonna try you. So first of all, let's gonna put a stop on the thing is hurting you the most. Okay, that right now, I think in the corner is this. What do you reckon? I have feedback. I talk to the boxers. Okay, I remove the gums and I talk to them. What do you reckon? Okay, yeah, well, it's hurting me through the middle. Okay, okay. Every time you throw, move your head out. Parry. Okay, and then what do you reckon? When you got him down, I think you're hurting him. Yeah, coach. And then you have that quick conversation in 1 minute. So you need to maximize the little things he's doing right and to try to stop whatever is going south completely. Okay. And you have to have a very concise, a very summarized approach, okay? You don't have the time to talk about more than 2, 3 things, 4 maybe, okay? 2 in the offense, 2 in the defense, okay? 2 defensive things, 2 defensive things. You don't have any, and try to hope for the best, okay? So you need to do minor adjustments, minor tweaks, and to hope for the big wins, for the big gains, okay? Minor adjustments, big gains in 1 minute in the corner. There's no other option, in my opinion. If you are in professional boxing, which is a brutal fight, because in amateur, at the end of the day, you have the referee, and the moment there are a couple of clean punches, the referee is going to stop the fight, okay? But in professional boxing, it's not like that. Professional boxing is brutal, small gloves, hard wrapping, and it's brutal. You really need to take care of the boxer. And then you need to play with, you need to understand the boxer. You need to know the boxer. So previously to the fight, you really need to try to spend time with the boxer. Even if in my case, sometimes I'm coaching boxers that they come directly from Latin America, their managers contact me and I don't know them. And I met them in the waiting. I have less than a day to create some type of bond. But I need to try to watch a lot of videos. I try to research about the boxer, and work with the boxer. I need to know how the boxer feels that weekend, because the boxer that weekend, maybe he feel like shit. He feel, and excuse my language, he feel with jet lag. Okay, so you need to know how the boxer feel. What's the motivation of the boxer? What's the mindset of the boxer that weekend? Okay, how the boxer feel. So you need hours of try to know that boxer to apply that into the corner, and then you need to apply some tricks of the trade. For instance, if I don't know the non-verbal communication of the boxer, I'm not sure if the boxer is okay, because in here, the main thing is to protect the boxer. You know what I do? I ask them, okay, mate, I'm gonna throw the towel. And then if the boxer is ready to fight, you're like, what? What do you mean to throw the towel? That's the reaction I'm looking for. Mate, I don't know. I think I'm gonna throw the towel. And then you make, what do you mean, coach? Don't you dare. You know what I mean? So you really need that reaction. No, come on, coach, come on. Let me show you. Okay. You are showing me that you are still there in the fight. You really want to fight. If you ask him, what do you recommend? Should I throw the towel? He starts hesitating. Maybe there's no more than one round for that boxer. You know what I mean? Again, the first thing that I ask is to ask them, how are you, mate? How do you feel? Talk to me. Okay? And then the boxer, they try to lie to you. They try to lie to you, but when you look someone lying in the eyes, getting hard in the brain, it's very difficult to lie. Okay? And then, okay, what do you reckon? Where is hurting you? Oh, a bit down. Yeah, it's hurting me. Okay, hurting you out. Okay, so every time he throws me, just bend over. So you start working on what he's telling you. Because maybe you think he's hurting him in the face, like with a Mexican boxer, and he was putting the hands down, and he was battering the face. And I told him, mate, first of all, he's going to put the hands up. He said, no, Raul. He said to me, he's broken my ribs. Every time he lands, mate, he's destroying me down. So he's not hurting me in the face, but when he lands in my ribs, he's destroying me there. He's going to stop me. So I need to protect myself. And I didn't see that. So I saw that he was, another jab. Okay, then put the hands up. And he said, no, because when he throws down, honestly, God is hurting me a lot. Thank God he told me, because as a coach, I didn't see that. He told me that, no. I need to protect my ribs because he's destroying me going downstairs. Okay, no problem. I said, okay, mate, move the head at the very least. Try to do something still. Don't get brain damage to protect your ribs. But anyway, I got a very good feedback. Another Mexican boxer, he told me, the second time I was in the corner with him, I said, don't ask me how I am. That's a humiliation. You don't ask a Mexican boxer, how are you? He said to me, that's for, and excuse my language, you will have to put a P. That's for pussies. He told me in Spanish, he said, you never ask a Mexican boxer, how are you? We are warriors. You never, in this fight, I don't want you to ask me, because that put me down. That hurt my self-esteem. And I said, okay. Previous to the fight, I had that feedback. So unlike with the other boxers, I didn't ask, Fernando, how are you? No, I didn't ask. Okay, Fernando, come on. We got this, okay? And then I start, listen, Fernando, he's catching you very easy with the straight punches, mate. Start parrying, start putting your guard further away from your face. Start parrying, start playing with the hands, start deflecting, okay? Start moving. I start working on that without asking him how he was. Other boxers are the opposite. You really need to ask them 25 times how they are. So every boxer is different, okay? So you need to find what works for that boxer, boxing-wise and personal-wise. And that's an art itself, and that's a homework you have to do before the fight.
That's really important. I respond really badly to anything that's too shouty and motivational. Like, exactly. I like absolute calm. You know, I want to be hydrated. I want a simple command. I respond well to positive. So if someone says, do more of that, I get on board with it. If it's do less of this, so that brings my mood down. So I try and get my corner, like, just tell me what I need to do more of. Like, throw more jabs, move your feet more, cover more. You know, you can wrap up what you want them to not do in the positive act, can't you? It's not just, you know, don't drop your hands. It's keep your hands high. You know, those are two different ways of saying the same thing, but one has a negative effect and one has a positive. But some fighters, like other guys that I fight and spar with, they like to be bollocked in the corner. They're like, fucking do it, get in there. You know, like, exactly. I can't work with that, but other people need that to go out there and get it done.
That's a very important thing. That's why you need to know the boxer. You really need to know the boxer personally, not only boxing wise. You really need to ask him, okay, do you want me in the corner to so you really need to, as a coach, you really need to ask difficult questions about what type of cornering do you want today, mate? Because the same boxer could be in a different mood. So one boxer in one fight could be in a different mood than the other. No, Raul, don't shout at me. No. Today I'm way calmer. Today, don't worry. So the same boxer, they need different things for different fights. You know what I mean? So, and some boxers, as you said, as you told me, you need to talk to them very calmly. With others, you really need to be the very much opposite. But with most of them, you really need to be very positive. Okay? That's a very important thing. Try to be very positive. Okay? Even when they are dying, you cannot be there. Oh, fuck my God. You have a cut me. Oh my God. No, on the contrary, don't worry, that's nothing. Maybe the eye is hanging. But you are like, no, that's nothing. I put a bit, give me adrenaline. That's nothing, mate, that's nothing. You know what I mean? You need to try to keep it positive to reduce the dramatic side of it. Okay? And I try, in my case, it works very well at all levels. Having a conversation. What do you reckon, mate? I think if you develop the jab, it's going to work. What do you reckon? And then he said, no, because I tried, no, he parried very well. Okay, what do you reckon? No, what do you think? If I throw the overhand, I said, okay, let's gonna try that. Okay, but if you throw the overhand, then step to one side. You know what I mean? You have it's not one-sided. It's not only me telling him what to do, because he have a perspective that I don't have. I'm 3-4 meters away. I'm not in there. I'm not his body. I don't know if he's hurting him in a different side of the body that I don't see. You know what I mean? So having that retro feedback, that conversation, yeah, it worked for me a lot. It worked for me. Some boxers, they don't want to talk to you at all. They say, no, you are the coach. You tell me. Whatever you tell me. Again, you need to know the boxer. And then you have to be like a sergeant in the army. Okay, then you're gonna do this. You understand? Positive. Okay, and then when you do that, also step back. Do you understand? Yes, coach. Like in the army. Again, every coach is different. Every boxer is different, and every moment is different. And you need to try to find the perfect key for every fight, for every boxer, and for every round. And that's an art itself.
Do you think, I got my own views on this, but do you think coaches practice coaching enough? So, for example, practicing what information can I get across in a minute? What information, how can I coach you? Because I see a lot of coaches, when they coach in sparring, they'll call time on the sparring. They might talk for 4 or 5 minutes, but that doesn't train them to coach in a one, let's say water, cold compress, flat iron, whatever. You probably got about 24 seconds left after you've done all that to get your information across. What would you advise people that are getting in the coaching game to practice their coaching?
Yeah, that's a very important point that you have made, because I think it's changing. To be honest with you, I see more and more coaches at all levels, absolutely at all levels, trying to maximize the little time they have to do the corner of a boxer. Okay, I see more and more coaches trying to put an effort on themselves. Okay. And as I said, the amateur federations in Madrid, in Wales, they are putting a lot of effort on teaching the coaches how to be good cornerman as well. And you can see, for instance, I had the experience to be in the dressing room a year ago in Bournemouth with Sugar Hill Stewart, which is the Tyson Fury coach. And he was with Okoli. I was in the dressing room with Levin Morales, one of the boxers I work with from Nicaragua. We were in the same dressing room that Okoli, the light heavyweight world champion, that sadly that night lost the title in Bournemouth. And Sugar Hill Stewart, which is the Tyson Fury coach, he's very much like that. He's a police officer. His main job is to be a police officer. And he has an amazing IQ in all senses. Boxing-wise, law enforcement-wise, he's a great motivator, and he can do a very good synthesis in 50 seconds. Okay. The last coach, what's his name? Derrick. The last coach, Anthony Joshua. Well, he was his coach up until one fight. Basically, they split up very recently. Derrick James. It was exactly a very similar approach than Sugar Hill Stewart. Okay. You see the top coaches to be more like that, more and more. Okay. And I want to think that is going to be the normal, more and more, because that works a lot. Just you can know a lot about boxing. You can be the best boxer ever, the best coach ever. But if you cannot transmit that in 50 seconds, it's completely useless. You know what I mean? You are not the one fighting. So it doesn't matter how good boxer you are. It doesn't matter how much you know about boxing. If you cannot pass that information to the boxer in 50 seconds, it's not going to work. So that's a very, very important thing that I want to think that is becoming the new normal all over the world. It definitely in Spain is happening, and in Italy is happening as well. So the coaches that are trying to work on themselves as well. Again, every boxer is different. Every situation is different. We come back to self-protection, self-defense. You are not the same person at 3 a.m. in the night, drunk, that they are 2 p.m. at Tuesday night in the office. You are not the same person. Your body is not the same. So if you have a fight, when you are starving to death, you didn't eat since 3 p.m. and you had 3 or 4 beers, you are not the same person that right after lunch, for better or for worse, but you're a different person. So when you wake up in the morning, you are not the same person that you are going to be 7 hours. So if you have a fight in a moment of your life, you are not going to perform the same. You know what I mean? So, and that's your body. So your capabilities are not going to be the same capabilities in different moments of your day, in different moments of your life. You are not the same person with 40 years of age than with 20 than with 60. If you have a flu, if you are overthinking about problems in your life and someone attacks you in the street, you are not going to have the same awareness. So you are a different living being. Okay, you are not a robot, which are exactly the same. But boxing is the same. So the boxers, they are people in the end. They are living beings. So they are not the same boxer in the first round and they are in the 5th round. You need to adapt yourself as well. They are not the same person when they are warming up and in the last round of the fight. You really need to adapt that. The journeyman, hat off to them, because the journeyman are very regular. The journeyman are people that are very capable, are very, very capable to keep themselves in a very standard way, in a very regular way. They are very adaptable. They can adapt themselves to all sorts of opponents, all sorts of situations, all sorts of nasty referees, even regulations, different hand wrapping. They are very adaptable, but their performance is very regular, very standard. They maximize themselves after adapting to different situations, but they are capable of keeping a very regular standard week in, week out. Hat off to them. That's why I admire them. And myself as a person, applying self-protection, applying self-defense and a way of living, I want to be like a journeyman. I want to be a journeyman of life. That's why I really love to work with them, because as a person, as a boxing coach, I'm learning a lot. As a living being, honestly, God, as a living being, how I behave in my daily life, I learn a lot from the journeyman.
And just one final question to kind of bring it all together. So what advice, if you're watching this and you're interested in protecting yourself and defending yourself, but you're just getting started, that's just something you've decided, I want to start making myself safer. What advice would you give people? What steps would you encourage them to start doing, thinking about, trying? What would your advice for people that want to become safer in life?
That's a very good question. And my first tip is you need to know yourself. Okay. You need to know yourself physically. Okay. So maybe you want to do Brazilian capoeira, but you cannot lift the legs 1 centimeter. So then probably Muay Thai is not going to be for you. Maybe you want to be a grappler, a wrestler, but maybe you don't have the body. Maybe you are very weak. You are not flexible. Okay. And maybe you want to train with weapons, but you are very clumsy. Okay. You really need to know, again, your weaknesses and your strengths and try to find a system that suits you, a martial art that suits you. Okay. Boxing, to be honest with you, is another reason that's why I love boxing, because boxing is so comprehensive, so natural. So when you see a baby, the babies do this. The monkeys, they do this. So boxing is so natural for us. That's why I love boxing. Krav Maga right now, you have different branches of Krav Maga, but the original Krav Maga is very comprehensive as well. Other similar self-defense and protection style. What you do, Tommy, is very, very comprehensive. What you do, Tommy, that's why I love what you do, because what you do is very applicable to many different people, because you really need to know yourself. You need to analyze yourself. Okay, how old I am, how fit I am. I'm going to be very capable of being rolling over with someone heavier than me on top of my body, or I'm going to get my back fucked in the first session. Can I throw kicks? You know what I mean? Do I have the ability and the coordination to do Filipino martial arts? Can I do rolling over and, you know what I mean, like in Aikido? Can I do those those rolling that they do in Aikido? Can I do that? So you really need to know your body, your mindset. Okay, when I'm doing sparring, can I get punched? Or I'm going to need a lot of time of my life to get punched? You know what I mean? Fitness-wise, my fitness lasts 30 seconds. Can last a little bit longer. I'm going to panic, or I have no clue. Therefore I have to try. Maybe you have no clue whatsoever. Okay, then try them all. Try boxing, try kickboxing, try wrestling, try jiu-jitsu, try aikido, try weapons, try absolutely everything, and see which one suits you better. So, and then try to have a very positive but realistic approach. Okay. Again, I said in the corner, I try to keep it positive but realistic. Okay. When I'm in the, I don't lie to the boxers. I don't tell them maybe that they have an eye hanging. I stop the fight if I have to stop the fight, but I try to be positive, but in a realistic way. Okay, you have to try to have a positive mindset, but in a very realistic way. So you cannot be thinking, I'm rubbish, this is not for me, this is not for me, because then it's self-defeated. You're going to self-defeat yourself. You really need to be humble, yes, but you really need to say, okay, I'm going to try to be capable of doing this. I'm going to try to do my best, okay, step by step, little by little. Okay, 2 steps and 1 back, 2 steps, 1 back, okay, 2 back, 1, you know what I mean? Try to be realistic, but try to be positive as well, okay? Try to keep it that way, not like, oh, I'm rubbish, or the other way, oh, I'm Clint Eastwood, I'm Chuck Norris. No, because probably you are not, okay? So IQ, again, you have to have a sensible IQ with yourself and with the system you are applying, the coach. Do you have good feedback with the coach? Do you have good feedback with the people training with you? And try. Fitness is capital. The fitter you are, the better. The healthier you are and the fitter you are, that's going to help you. The stronger you are, the more flexible you are, that's gonna be very important. Fitness is more important than strength to an extent, but strength is also very important. And I'm a very weak person, and my own experience. So I try to work on my strength, because I know strength is impossible. Sorry, it's impossible. It's something very important. It's impossible to do combat sport without some degree of strength. But fitness is even more important. Without fitness, you are nothing. If you gas out in 30 seconds, you are over. Okay?
Absolutely. So honest with yourself, honest with your objections, be brave enough to try stuff.
Yeah, and again, maybe boxing doesn't work with you in a specific gym with a specific coach. It doesn't mean boxing doesn't work with you. Okay? So you can have a bad experience in a boxing gym with a boxing coach, but it doesn't mean boxing is not for you. With Krav Maga, with Jiu-Jitsu, with many, many different things. Give it a go, try different coaches. Even I encourage the people to try different coaches than me. And they tell, but why? You don't want to coach me? You know, I want to coach you, but I love you, coach. Okay, but I want you to love me after you try other, you know what I mean? You try other coaches and find the coach that suits you, because every coach is different. Not every coach can do everything. Not every coach is for everyone. Not every coaching system. Maybe my system, maybe my way is not for you. Try other coaches. You know what I mean? So as a coach, maybe because I can afford it, because boxing is not my main income, I can afford to be that honest. Maybe other coaches, they cannot be that honest because they really need the income of every person. But a lot of coaches are like me, to be honest with you. A lot of coaches are like me. Okay, and they encourage you to try. So yeah, try disciplines, try different sports, try different coaches, try different gyms, and try to find one that suits you. I mean, don't stay 10 years pivot in between them. I'm not, okay, I'm 10 years after I'm still trying. No, try to give yourself a year, give yourself 6 months. Okay, have different tasters, you know what I mean? Try to persevere with one, and then we will start another one. Try to persevere a couple of months, and then another 2 months. Okay, try 6 things. Month and a half in a year, you know what I mean? And then try to think what is best for you. But what I would recommend is something is better than nothing. It's better to try and being rubbish and being the worst than not doing it. It's better. So the worst boxer in a gym is better than 95% of the people out there in the street. So try to do, I do Krav Maga and I'm way worse than everyone else. Yeah, but you are way better than everyone else in the street. So something is better than nothing. It's a headline for me. Something is better than nothing. So really I do encourage everyone to try to do boxing, to try to do self-protection. Party 2, Tommy Joe Moore, a school of self-defense. I do encourage you to try. I want you, Tommy, to have franchise. I hope you, Tommy, you will have different schools in the UK and in Europe. To be honest, yeah. I think your system is very good, and I know it's a massive effort to avoid your system being watered down. But I hope, Tommy, you will find a way to have franchise, to have people teaching your system to an extent. You know what I mean? To an standard, because your system is incredibly good. It's incredibly realistic.
It's thank you very much.
Yeah. No, that's yeah. So hopefully you will find a way. You're very young. You have many, many years ahead of you. You will find a way to promote your system outside the place you are physically in. You know what I mean?
Well, thank you so much, Raul, for your insights. So if you want to find out, Raul, or wherever you find this video, I'll put links because Raul does, he's got a kind of boxing and self-protection channel, which he's just started. So if you see this on my YouTube channel, go there, like it, subscribe it, please. He's at seminars and events all over the country. Find him. You can find him via me on Facebook. He'll be more than happy to add you, speak to you, pick his brains about boxing, self-protection. He's based in Newport in Wales, but does a lot of stuff in the kind of southwest region as well. So you can stay in touch there. But thank you very much, Raul, for sharing your thoughts, insights, and the secrets of the Journeyman with us. And also, please put pressure on Raul to make a Secrets of the Journeyman book, because I think that would be very cool. So wherever you see him, bully him into doing that.
So thank you very much indeed, Tommy. Yeah, you said I'm a professional boxing coach, a black belt in Krav Maga, instructor in Irish stick fighting, Jeet Kune Do Kali, black belt. I've been training 35 years of my life, so I had time to get all sorts of trainings. But that's why I have this YouTube channel with my best friend, who has his expertise, his area of expertise as well. He works doing security all over the world as well. He has an incredible mindset. He has been all over the world doing all sorts of security, incredible levels. And together, we wanted to blend everything together. His experience all over the world, my martial combat experience in sports, and we put everything together in simple self-defense, defense we see. So in British English, not self-defense with S, like the Americans, and we try to put everything together that works for a big amount of people, not just with very fit, very tough people. No, we try to put a product in the channel that works. I'm not going to say for everyone, but nearly for everyone. Yeah, that again, something is better than nothing. So we try to put in the channel all my experience, all Ryan's experience, and we try to put everything there for the people to take something, which is always better than nothing. And it's a massive pleasure because, Tommy, I really admire you, to be honest with you, as a boxer, as a fighter, but especially as an instructor. And your system is incredible, as I said. And yeah, believe me, you are a role model to follow to me. And I want to write a book as you did. And I will because, again, finishing with the Journeyman, they do self-protection in the ring. They protect themselves to fight week in, week out. They lose some points without going to the floor, without getting cut, winning a couple of rounds in the fight, getting the money. And next Saturday, they take the circus to a different place and they fight again, a different gig. And again, I fight, I'm not going to win. I don't have the chances to win because I'm fighting every week, whatever. I'm going to protect myself. Yeah, I'm going to use tricks of the trade, old dog tricks, as we say in Spanish, old dog tricks, and they're going to survive. They're going to do self-defense, self-protection in boxing. They're going to apply self-protection in boxing. So they do a lot of covering, very like nearly 52 blocks. They do a lot of 52 blocks like the Americans. They do a lot of very good things and they survive. And anyway, it's an honor to me to work with them, to be honest with you. This Saturday, I'm going to Bournemouth with one of my best friends, with Christian Lopez, El Chirris Flores from Sinaloa, Mexico. Is one of my best friends. He's fighting in Bournemouth against Jake Clark, who trains with Phil Norman, who has...
Yes, I know him.
Yeah, so I think Phil Norman is going to be doing the corner of Jake, and I'm going to be doing the corner of Christian. So my Journeyman, Christian Lopez Flores, that I've been working with him years and years since he started to come to Europe. He's facing Jake Clark, Ghost Elusive Boxing, which is a very good system that I like, to be honest with you. So again, my Journeyman is going to hate Jake. I mean, it's going to be a stone in the way for Jake to grow up in his career. You know what I mean?
It's a good stylistic fight, isn't it? Front-facing Mexican fighter, elusive, yeah. Ghosty, it's a good, exactly. It's nice.
So it's going to be a great stepping stone for Jake Clark, to be honest with you. It's going to be a very good stepping stone. He's going to learn things, believe me. He's going to learn things from that fight, and we are going to help him to grow his career, to grow up as a boxer. In 6 rounds, he's going to learn a lot, believe me. We are going to use every single tool from the Journeyman box for Jake to learn a lot of things. Believe me, we are going to do that. And again, Tommy, thank you very much indeed for this opportunity. And I will see you next time, my friend, either online or training.
See you soon, buddy. Thank you so much.
All the best.
Cheers. Cheers.
Adiós, amigos.